Okay, so now we're going to attack the instrument tracks. So if you look at the video here, you can see I have my main keyboard pulled out here. If you remember, in an earlier video, I was using an M-Audio keyboard that I showed you how to set up. This is set up very much the same way, but since it's a PreSonus brand keyboard, it sets itself up. I just wanted to kind of show you guys that so you knew what I was doing here with this. What we're going to do now is we are going to use this keyboard the same as we would use the one we set up in the earlier video, and we're going to work with an instrument or MIDI track. It depends on what you want to call it. In Studio One, they're called instrument tracks, and it's really important to understand the difference between an instrument track and a MIDI track. There really isn't one. It's just called something different in Studio One, but it's essentially the same thing. Okay, so if you guys look at the screen here, I can choose an instrument and bring this in. You guys have seen me done this you guys have seen me do this earlier. Pardon my English. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this again with the Presence instrument here. So in the browser, you have a number of tabs. Let me actually shrink these up and kind of start from the beginning here. Okay, so you have instrument tabs. Here's where your effects are. I can't wait to get to this part where we can show how to add effects to certain things. And we have loops, and we can go to our desktop or anywhere on our computer, and we can go and drag in files from just about any place that we want. And then, like I showed you before, we have the cloud, the shop, and then the pool. We're going to deal with instruments right now. So you can see I've got a bunch of third-party stuff installed. So probably most of you right now are only going to have the PreSonus stuff installed. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you're set to vendor. To me, this is the easiest way to sort. You do have a flat option where it'll just actually put everything in alphabetical order. You do have a folder option that you can do certain things. And I'm really not a big fan of the folder option, but it's great if you're working with a lot of third-party stuff. So for me, though, I like the vendor view because then I have my native instruments. I have my PreSonus. I have my Reason. I have all of these things here in order per manufacturer. So in this case, I'm going to click on PreSonus. And I am going to go here to Presence. And you can see if you click once on the instrument, it will let you show your presets. So I can do a couple of things here. I'm going to go ahead and go to, I can go to my artist instruments, and these are basically general MIDI instruments. So if you've got some files that you want to drag in the future, you can use these to set up a general MIDI kind of a setup with drums, bass, keyboards, guitars, and that kind of thing. So let's see, we're going to go with, let's see, do I have pianos here, or is it just keyboards? We'll go with keyboards. And you have everything from an accordion, let's see, to electric piano. So let's do an electric piano. We're going to work with the tracks we created in the last video. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm just going to drop it right there. And you can see that it pulls up the instrument, and it actually loads the sound. Now let me undo that, because I'm going to show you another way that you can do it. If you actually just want to drag in the instrument first and go with it that way, then all you have to do here is go to the instrument, drag it in, and you see it does pretty much the same thing, only it doesn't load the instrument. So here you would actually have to click on this list, and you would go to Artist Instruments, and we're going to go to Keyboards, and then we would choose the electric piano from here. So let's go with the electric piano, double click on it, and it opens. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. And a lot of people, when they first use Studio One, I can't open the instrument again. I'm going to drag it in from here again. And you don't want to do that. If you want to edit or change the instrument on an existing track that was just created, you don't drag it in again from here, because it will open up another track, and you don't want to do that. All you have to do is click on the little keyboard, doink, and there you go. You got your instrument back. I believe you can also click here. I've never done it there. You can do it there too. There you go. You can see that when the instrument is open, it turns orange here in both the channel and on the track itself. Okay, so now let me show you one other way to do this. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead, remove track and instrument. There we go. It unloads everything, and it's gone. So you can also do this. Click on the plus sign, And you can actually go here to the type, drop this down, and create an instrument track. So we got red, and we just want one. And we are not, let's see, we can use an existing instrument if we want, but let's see, the output, yeah, we'll just use that the way it's at, and we want the input at the default, and that is going to be the all option, for triggering all, and I'll show you that in a second. To use any external device that you have hooked up, I'm going to click OK. But see, there is nothing in here. If I click on this, there's nothing here. So what if you want to put something in there? Then you would just simply go ahead here and drag this instrument and put it right on the track, and it opens it up. You can go here, Artist Instruments, you can go to Keyboards and choose the electric piano. And we are all set. Okay, so those are a couple of the ways that you can actually insert an instrument track. Now, one thing we didn't do is we didn't actually name it. And you saw that if you drag it in from the browser, it takes care of that for you automatically. But in this case, since I actually created the track first, I'm just going to double click on the name and change it to electric piano, just like that. So perfect. So it's there. I got this open, and I'm hitting my keyboard, and nothing's coming out. Why is nothing coming out? Well, because I don't have the track armed. So here we go. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to arm the track. And if I press my keyboard, it is perfect. So let's see what I've got here. I don't remember what key I did this in. I'm going to use my sustain pedal. Let me listen to my song. I've got it rewound all the way back to the beginning, and I've got the click track or metronome turned on. Remember, it needs to be turned on here if this on and off option is going to work. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. 2, 3, 4. Just going to do something simple. So now I'm going to go ahead. I have it armed. I can actually hear it, and I'm going to click record. Ready? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. And if I did this right, you can see that the track doesn't begin until you actually either hit the sustain pedal or you actually press your first note, so it doesn't waste time there. So let's see what happens here. Ready? Very cool. So now if I wanted to edit some of this, let's say I wanted to actually experiment with a couple of different notes, I can go ahead and double click on this track, and then here's the MIDI track. The zooming here in the edit view works identical to the event view. So I can grab a number and I can pull up and down so that I can see all my notes, or I can place the cursor in a location and use the slide bar here to do that. So let's see, let's mess with this a little bit. So let's see, I'm going to bring that down there. Beautiful. I can even add notes. I can go ahead and add an ending note. So let's see, let's add a note. I'm just going to double click. I could use the draw tool, but I'm just going to use the arrow. And I'm going to stretch that up. There we go. There we go. And if I wanted to sustain, I can stretch that out. So now let's listen to our whole little piece here. There we go. We can actually have that like that. Beautiful. And that is creating and using an instrument track or a MIDI track or however you want to say it. So we did a bunch of things. Just as a quick review, we dragged in the actual instrument into the track and into the event view, and it created the track. We dragged the instrument itself, the plugin itself, into the event view, and it created the actual track, and we had to choose the instrument from the list. And then we also did the track creation that is very much like the audio track creation, and then dragged the instrument onto it directly and did it from there. So whichever works best for you is going to be the way that you're going to go as far as getting your songs started. And like I said in the last video, you can start building up your audio tracks, your instrument tracks. You can keep dragging stuff in and really build your song. So this is a really short deal here, but this should get you going with no problem. All right, folks, thanks for actually watching. There are more videos to come, and I'll see you in the next one.